Welcome to She Sells Radio. I am so excited to bring you this episode today because this is going to be different and powerful and transformational in ways that I think are hard to explain right now. So today I'm going to be bringing you a portion of a behind the scenes mastermind conversation that we had not too long ago with my 50K Club high level masterminds. So we have women in there who are already at the six-figure level, who are scaling to multi six and seven figures. And every month I bring them a guest mentor. And these guest mentors are very high level people who often it would be difficult to get access to or receive mentorship from. And when I was thinking about this year, who did I want to bring in to the mastermind, I had this nudge to bring in Dr. Hillari Hamilton. And if you're not familiar with who she is a head researcher and the head of donor relations for the Inner Science Research Fund, which is Dr. Joe Dispenza's foundation. And so she's a head researcher with him as well. And the other thing I love about this and why I'm excited to bring this to you on the podcast is when I look back on our episodes to see what have the most popular topics been that resonate with you the most. By far, out of over 300 episodes now, the two that have been the most downloaded, most listened to, one was where I talked about my experience at the Joe Dispenza retreat. And then the second was my interview with Dr. Hillari Hamilton, where I brought her on in episode 139. And she talked about the science behind abundance and transformation. So I brought her into my mastermind group recently, and the conversation was so powerful to have this very intimate setting where she was able to come in and just pour into the women there to take them to a much higher level of consciousness around their business, their life, abundance, creating the results that they're wanting, doing it from the quantum. Like it's very, very powerful, high level conversations that we had. And I'm not going to bring you the full conversation because she did some custom coaching with the women there, but I'm going to bring you part of it so that you can listen to what she shared with the group. It was so impactful, so powerful. And I know you're going to enjoy it. So with that, I'm going to get right into the interview now, the episode, the interview that we had with her here in the mastermind so that you can hear for yourself. So get ready. I think you're going to want to take notes on this one too. It's a really transformational conversation with Dr. Hillari Hamilton. This is going to be so powerful. I want to share a little bit about, just why I wanted to have Dr. Hillari in here to work with all of you and what a blessing it is to have her. She's got such a busy travel schedule and life schedule with all the work she's doing. So we are so grateful to have you. I think all of you in this group know my own personal transformation, and Dr. Joe Dispenza's work was a key piece. Like when I think about the financial growth, going from being stuck at the same level for over 10 years, not being able to break past a certain threshold, to being able to turn annual income to monthly income in 6 weeks. It literally was his abundance meditation, feeling worthy, feeling grateful, shifting my identity, which for those of you who are registered for the seven-figure self-image event we're doing later today, you'll hear me speak about that more. But his work was so pivotal in that, healing skin cancer, so many transformations happened. And I came across his work and did and experienced these transformations before going to an event. And in January of 2022, I went to an event in Marco Island, which was my first week-long retreat that I had ever done. And when I went to the retreat, I saw him bring up this incredible powerhouse woman multiple times on stage, Dr. Hillari Hamilton. And he first had, I don't know, he brought you up the whole event, I think, but I think first I saw you demonstrate how to access gamma brainwaves, and it was incredible. It was like nothing I'd ever seen. It was so powerful. Then she was on stage raising funds for the Inner Science Research Fund, which would be happy to have you speak more to the group about today while you're here. And I thought, oh my gosh, this woman is not only incredibly spiritual and gifted in that way, but also she's a business powerhouse. And I kind of stalked her at the event. I was like, I feel like I need to get to know this woman. There was a long line of people waiting to get to know her after she had come up and spoken. And I was like, I need to connect with her. She is incredible. So she came on the podcast last year. It was one of our top rated episodes to this day, talked about the science behind abundance and transformation. And just, I've learned so much from interacting with her. And a little while ago, I just had this nudge, like reach out and see if you can get her as a guest mentor for the mastermind. And I told some of you, I was like, I don't know, this feels stretchy, but gosh, I would love if I could have her come in and speak with all of you. So we are so grateful to have you. I'll share a bit of your formal bio, Dr. Hillari, if that's okay. And then I'll let you actually speak and say hi to the group. There's so much in here. I'm going to try to distill it down a little bit here. But so Dr. Hillari her background is in developing programs to best serve individuals in transforming their health from a state of dis-ease to one of ease by uncovering the root cause of imbalance mentally, physically, and chemically. She has been working with Dr. Joe for the past, is it 3 or 4 years now? Maybe more, because I think this bio was.
Yeah, it's probably 5 years by now.
5 years. Okay. Yeah. Working very closely with him and quantifying the research. She's a chiropractor, a certified hypnotherapist, a research coordinator, a wellness coach, a meditation facilitator, and just travels with him and the team all around the world. I think you're going to Germany tomorrow. Is that right?
Later today.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Okay, so
Yeah.
going to Germany, and she has now joined the Inner Science Research Fund nonprofit to help support Dr. Joe Dispenza's life transforming work, and is the director of donor relations there as well. We are so grateful and excited to have you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here with all of you. And it looks like we have some moms on the call, which I think is just beautiful. We can talk a little bit about being a mom and some of the discoveries that we just had come across our plate just at the last event in Denver. We had some women get up on stage, and it's just, so do all of you guys do Dr. Joe's work? I'm curious.
I think a lot of women do. Some may be newer to it. I know I've introduced it throughout the group, but I think everyone's kind of on a different stage of their journey.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll back up and then we'll go into the motherhood as we move forward.
Yeah.
So like Elisa said, I've been with Dr. Joe for quite some time now, and I'm an NCS trainer. And Lindsay Hurst, who is Dr. Joe's COO of the NeuroChange Solutions program for corporate and for just organizations that want to create more coherence and more collaboration, more creativity with their team. We're here in Miami. We just did a training over the weekend, and it was super powerful. And what Dr. Joe's work is all about is when you change your mind, you get new results, and how the mind-body connection affects us, and how, we have 70 trillion cells or 70 trillion or more, 100 trillion cells in our body, and they're all spying on what we're thinking. And so how powerful it is that our thoughts affect our body. And Dr. Joe's work is all about change your personality, you change your reality. And your reality, your personal reality, is your life. So if you can notice and become familiar with how you think, how you act, and how you feel, creates your state of being. And we are uncovering through science how you think, how you act, and how you feel changes your biology and your physiology just by thought alone. And we're uncovering in a week's time at our week-long events. We take measurements at the beginning of the week, and we look at blood, saliva, brainwave activity, heart rate variability. We look at urine, we look at microbiome. We even are looking at tears now, and we're noticing the way people show up to an event is based on years of conditioning, and 95% of who we are, we don't even know, because it's an unconscious program playing in the background, and we're only aware of 5% of how we're thinking. And so when you start to become familiar with that over the course of the week long, and you open up to new potentials, and you go from a narrow focus to an open focus through the meditative process that he brings, people are changing, and they're changing all of those different physiology and biology in your body. And by the end of the week, People have overcome stage 4 cancer, they've overcome Parkinson's, blindness, deafness, and it's just, we're creating an amplitude of energy that the more people know how to do this, the greater the changes. And so it's like the 4-minute mile that he talks about. Once you know, you cannot not know. And people are waking up to how powerful they truly are. So it's been quite the journey. And because there are moms on the call, I'll tell you that we were just in Denver and we had 2 women get on the stage and tell their stories. Both women had children that were autistic and were severely autistic. And doing the work, they brought both children into coherence healing. So they had a healing at an event, but the mothers noticed when they started changing, their kids started changing. So what we're uncovering is how connected we really are to our kids and to the people in our lives. And we can influence our children based on the emotions that we're living by. And so these moms were on the stage, so we were all crying in the audience, but when they started changing, it was healing their children. And we've heard this more than once. So the power of who we're being affects the people around us. And it's pretty incredible.
Wow.
So Dr. Joe really wants to emphasize, changing how you are emotionally changes the outcome. So you can go from survival emotions like fear, frustration, anger, resentment, guilt, and transmute that energy, those emotions, into something that's more loving to you, like love, appreciation, gratitude. All of these elevated emotions actually change the chemistry of your body, and you can expand that energy out. So elevated emotions, like I just mentioned, are selfless. So thoughts are the language of the brain, but feelings are the language of the body. And how we think and how we feel creates that state of being. So thoughts go out and feelings come in. So thoughts are electric and feelings are magnetic. And how that is like you use your body as an instrument. So if you're thinking and feeling in a state of survival, then that energy that you are contracts. And when you create a contraction in the body, what happens? You hold your breath, you have tension, and you're contracting that energy, and the body can't function that well. So when you're in a state of survival, you're thinking about my body, my environment, and time. You become selfish. They're all about you. But those elevated emotions are just the opposite. They're selfless, and you're not concerned about your body, your environment, time. You're becoming greater than your body, greater than your environment, and greater than time. And so those emotions and that energy expands out. And that's when the autonomic nervous system can go in and regulate all the other systems because you're out of the way, right? So when people are in survival and they say they have back pain, right? So Dr. Joe teaches where you put your attention is where you put your energy. So if your focus is on your back pain all day long, what's going to happen? That back pain is going to increase, right? Because where you put your attention is where you put your energy. But his teachings are so strong and so powerful that you can overcome that back pain and you can put your attention somewhere else, get out of the way, and the body can go in and heal that area. So it's pretty powerful stuff. We just did an NCS training with a company. It was so fun. We had a company that invited us in where half the company is Spanish and the other half of the company was English. We had translators in the room, and it was a lot of moving parts, but it was beautiful. And once we started the program, one of the first questions that we ask is to identify in your life when you wanted to make a change and you were successful. So just take a moment to think about that. When in your life were you in a position that you wanted to do something and you were successful? What were the thoughts that you had around that? What were the actions? And what were the feelings that allowed you to become successful? And how did you show up for that success? What were some of the thoughts, actions, and feelings? And then identify a point in your life when you wanted to make a change where you were unsuccessful at making that change. What were some of those thoughts, actions, and feelings? And what are the differences between the two? Does anybody want to share anything on when they were successful, what some of the thoughts, actions, and feelings were?
Yeah, Laura, please go ahead.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. There's many times, there's a specific time I wanted to create like a sales goal for my team. And even before creating it, I knew I could create it. I knew that it was possible. And I had this feeling of, if I put in the work and if I just trust the people around me to do what they need to do and the possibilities of it. And I didn't know the word at the time, but just doing the work now. But I was like, wow, that happened so easy. All the people around me did what they needed to do. I looked at the possibility of how they could contribute to the success of a goal. And it was so exciting. I was like, wow, wow, this actually happened, and I won top award out of a national company for the sales.
Wow.
I remember feeling that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you knew you had the right thoughts, and then you took action, and then the feelings were, you're not going to stop me. I know that this is going to happen. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that is it. You were creating that state of being, which created your personality, which then in turn affected your personal reality. So
Yeah.
that's beautiful. And anybody want to share a time in their life where they were unsuccessful? What their thoughts, actions, and feelings were? No one wants to share that one. I
I
know.
was like, I could share.
I'll share. Laura can share. Yeah.
I was just thinking about like the area, like even now that is like my weight, right? So the things that showed up were and I just writing it down, I don't have control over it. I'm like, wow, where did that come from? I'm beating myself up for it. Why am I not successful at it? So it's like these things are showing up, around that piece of it for me.
Yeah. And how can you look at it differently? Because the first success, your voice was different, your energy was different. And then the second time your voice changed, and we could sense the feelings around it were different. So if we could, change those feelings, that would trigger more of the thoughts that would be more supportive and more successful for you. And to make you a priority. And if you guys, some of you that follow Dr. Joe, what he always likes to use the word, is that loving to me? So what would be some loving emotions that you could have around yourself that would allow you to have that same success? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else want to share a time when they were successful? Those elevated emotions are key, right? It opens the door. And if you have an elevated emotion with a clear intention, right? And so Laura too, maybe you don't make losing weight a priority. Maybe we don't make ourselves a priority. We're all women. We take care of people beyond ourselves easier than we take care of ourselves. So to make ourselves a priority, because we're worthy to receive a greater version of ourselves, right? We got to turn that love inward and show up for ourselves. right?
Yeah, I appreciate that, because I think in my mind, it's, well, I know I'm beating myself up. And it's like, I know that is that I get to rework that, and I get to change that to loving myself. And so I've been doing the breaking the habit of being yourself around this whole, this is something in my life I really want to focus on and change how I feel about it. And
Yeah.
so those feelings, I'm like, all right, I love how I can feel into these feelings of, well, these are lies, these are not what I want. And then creating a feeling of love and grace and, pleasure and fun, and how easy it is to come off. And it's not about the number, it's about how I feel. It's, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And how many of us on this call believe that our thoughts have something to do with our destiny? We do, right? So if that's the case, then we have to be able to tune into how we're thinking, and how we're thinking turns into how we're feeling. And those feelings trigger more of the same thoughts. So to open the door to a different way of thinking, that's when the evolution begins to start, right? And how you think and feel creates that state of being. So with you talking about losing weight, what are some of the thoughts that you could have around losing weight?
What if losing weight could just be easy?
Yeah. Yeah.
What if I feel good now? What if
Yeah.
I buy things now that I feel good in my body? What, I think about what feels good, what does healthy feel like? I know what
Mm,
that feeling is. It's really, when I'm eating the things that my body desires and wants, as far as like fruits and vegetables or protein, I know, and stopping when I'm feeling satisfied. I can do that.
yeah. And do you do any of Dr. Joe's meditations?
Yeah,
Okay.
the
So
freaking, yeah, but
breaking the habit of-
I love,
yeah,
your input on that. Yeah.
yeah, there's one meditation, it's called Tuning into New Potentials. And
I
there's
just
two
did that
potentials.
yesterday.
Did you do it? Yeah.
I did it
So
this morning.
awesome. So your thoughts send the message out.
Mm,
They're electric, and feelings draw the event to you. They're magnetic, and we're
mm,
electromagnetic beings, that energy that we are beyond ourselves. So using that clear intention with the elevated emotion, and feel what it would feel like if you were in the body of your perfect choice. If you were at the beach, or if you were on stage, or if you were receiving an award, and what dress would you be wearing, or what outfit would you be wearing, and how would you feel in that? And that's the feeling that's going to draw the experience to you.
mm,
Then you elongate that feeling, and then it becomes your new personality.
mm,
And then your personal reality will match that. So, and just have fun with it. Don't be hard on yourself,
mm.
right?
I love it.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So has anybody used Dr. Joe's work to create anything so far? What have you created, Elise?
Person.
Oh, you've created health. Anything else?
Yeah. Created health, healed the skin. The first time I went the matter on matter approach, the first time I was diagnosed, and I got scared and got surgery, and it was a bit of a traumatic experience. Second time I was like, I'm not doing that, because they diagnosed me again with another spot right by my eye. And they were like, we're going to have to go in and do major reconstructive surgery. And I was like, no, like I'm not up for that. So I used his work to heal that. I went back, they couldn't find any trace of it. Was really, really powerful. And then financially, again, abundance, have created quite a bit of abundance using his work. Daycare, manifested the right daycare that I wanted for my kids. I mean, I think this is, when I think about any transformation in the past few years with my awareness of this work now, it's all been based on this work. It's incredibly powerful. Yeah. Yeah. And
That's,
yeah, go ahead.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, you tell me when you want me to play that video that you sent over. I think it will be a powerful kind of tee up for the women to see some of the transformation that others have created too. I want to go with your flow of whatever works best for you today, but I'm happy to play that at whatever.
Yeah, let's
time
play
is.
that in just a moment. This
Yeah.
video that I shared with Elise is called Legends, and it's been updated. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but it's been updated because we have so many healings and so many miracles coming our way that Dr. Joe put together this amazing video of people transforming. And what they're doing is they're using the work. They're showing up to an event. They're getting out of their regular routines, right? Because routines, we go unconscious. If we're in our routines, we get up and do the same thing over and over again. And it's just these habits that we're conditioned to be in. And so we're not doing or feeling or thinking anything new. So when you go to a retreat, you get out of the way, and with his teachings, learning to go from a narrow focus to an open focus. And that narrow focus is when we're in that state of survival, when we're thinking about our body, our environment, and time, and we turn on the sympathetic nervous system. And the sympathetic nervous system is that fight or flight nervous system. And sometimes we have a circumstance in our lives where we turn that sympathetic nervous system on and we can't turn it off, right? And then we're headed for our destiny. And a lot of the time it's related to disease. And it's like if you're in a room with a tiger all the time, your heart rate is faster, your blood flow is all to your extremities because you're ready to fight, run, or hide. And that's okay for short term, but sometimes we turn on that stress response and we can't turn it off. So going to an event or doing the work and being consistent with it, you learn to go from that narrow focus when you're paying attention to your environment and you're ready for that fight or to run and hide. And then you learn to take your attention off of the environment, off of your body, and off of time. And in those meditations, you open up and you sense the space beyond your body and space. And so when you do that, you take all that energy that you are and you expand it out, and you're getting out of the way. And so that's what we do at these events. There's like 20, I think 30 hours almost of meditation. So people are learning to put their attention off of their body and expand it out into space. And then when you do that, you're putting your body in something called homeostasis. So you're putting your body in balance. And then the autonomic nervous system, which is automatic, can go in and regulate all the other systems. And so the body begins to heal. And we wear a mask in our events. And what that mask does is allows the body to produce more melatonin. And melatonin is a nighttime transmitter that heals the body, and it goes through all these different changes. So the body can get better. And so this work is really all about, not just about creating your future, but it's also about creating the best version of you from a health perspective. And it's super fun. So I would love for Elise, if you can show the video and let you guys see a little bit of what we do at these events and how it's transformative.
Absolutely. It's so powerful. I'll share this, and you'll see, like, again, like ladies, I said, I was watching this morning and I just was crying. Christine saying, if it's tearjerker, I'm turning off my video. Yeah. I mean, it moved me very much emotionally because I've experienced not these things specifically that you'll see, but that same level of just the self-love that comes in when you do this work. And so you'll see in this, it's health transformations, which this group is more about business, career. I know there's a lot of things in here we're also looking to create and shift in our health, right? Anytime we get a group of people together, there's things we want to shift in our business and our health. But I think what will be fun too is to see some of the evidence in this video and see how it applies to health. And then when we come back, maybe we can talk about, well, what does this mean for us in our careers, in our business, if we're looking to create abundance, if we're looking to generate a certain result. We've got really incredible entrepreneurs, sales leaders in this group. So they'll probably want to know, like, how does this apply? So maybe we can talk through it. But I want to thank you so much for sending this, Dr. Hillari, because I want to share this. It was just so powerful.
So you have to know what you want with a clear intention. Okay. It's not a wishy-washy, well, I kind of want to do this. No, you need a clear intention with an elevated emotion. I know this is going to sound a little mature, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. Talking about sex for a second. So when you're having sex and if you have a clear intention for an outcome during sex with an elevated emotion, do you get to the end goal? You do. You got to look at your life that way too. You want to have a clear intention with an elevated emotion, and that'll get you to your goal. It can't be incoherent. It's got to have complete coherence, and it's got to be that specific pattern. There's infinite possibilities, right, that we can tune into, but you need to know what you want to create. Write it down. She says, I'm trying to find what that clear intention is and what really lights me up. Okay. So maybe it's not something you want to create outside of you. Maybe it's something you want to create inside of you. Start with you first. So we're really good as women living in the state of guilt because, oh, I didn't do this right, or my kids, I find that in my life. Guilt was one that was pretty predominant there for a while. So learning, I think we should all start with us. If we can, learn to be loving to ourselves and to tune into worthiness. I think worthiness and trust, these are big, big, big ones. I trust myself, right? What does trusting yourself feel like? Tuning into the energy of, I trust myself, or I'm worthy to receive, or I love myself. Now, how hard it's hard as women. We're taught from our environment, need this new lipstick, you need this, new hair products, you need to do this to your face, you need to do this to your body. We're so conditioned to say we're not perfect. We need something outside of ourselves. But to sit in a meditation and just tune into loving yourself, then that'll expand new thoughts, which will bring those new choices and new behaviors, and you create those new experiences. And then maybe you'll have a clearer intention of what you want to create in your future. But I think it all starts with loving ourselves back into our lives, and then something else will open up. I don't know. What do you think, Elise? Do you think that's...
I love it. Well, what I love too, you're talking about trust yourself. That's actually, you don't know this, but that is the core message of She Sells.
Oh,
I
is it?
found, oh yeah. In my own life, when things weren't clicking the way I wanted, I was in so much self-doubt, thinking I wanted too much for my life. My desires were too big. I was too much, et cetera, et cetera. And I stopped trusting myself. And I think for a lot of the women in this group too, and Laura, I appreciate you sharing your backstory. It's like so many women have had some sort of trauma where we disconnect from our bodies and then we stop trusting ourselves. And then we don't realize how much that's holding us back in our business, in our lives, in other areas. And so learning to create that self-trust again, because I thought differently than a lot of my family about things. I still do, and that's okay, right? But like we learn to question ourselves, and we learn that we're not right as little girls, and learning to trust again. And then that worthiness piece. Dr. Hillari, tell us about what you've got going on, how women can get more involved.
Okay.
Tell us where to go from here with you. This was
So, like Elise said, I'm the Director of Donor Relations for Inner Science Research Fund. And what we do is it's our community that helps fund the research. So at UC San Diego, they can analyze all the data that we collect from Dr. Joe's events. So, there's several scientists that come to the event, and they collect the blood, the saliva, the urine, even the poop samples, the microbiome. And so it's UC San Diego that analyzes it. And so we support that so we can get it published, peer-reviewed papers out into medical journals, so we can bring this work to healthcare. And it's not just to healthcare, it's to everyone's care, so we can be the greatest version of ourselves. And I can't imagine going through this life not knowing this work. Some people go through their whole lives just reacting from their environment, never getting to know who they truly are, never looking under their own hood and saying, oh my gosh, I've been feeling like this for 20 to 30 years. Can I feel something different? And it's absolutely true. So what he teaches is just so beautiful, and it gives people the opportunity to live their best lives and to be able to prove through science what we're doing. We're going to change the world with stuff, I have no doubt. And as a donor, you could do a monthly donation of your choice, can be $10 a month. And with that donation, it goes all to science. So we can bring meditation to the foundation of people's everyday lives. And we do a monthly meditation with Dr. Joe's work. Just did changing boxes like yesterday, day before yesterday, with hundreds of people all over the world. And changing boxes is a great meditation for any of you guys to do. You change boxes from who you are to who you want to be with that clear intention and elevated emotion. And we did the meditation to what if humanity was in a state of wholeness and oneness. So did that as a collective. And we have evidence that says we can affect the field with our intention and changing the frequency, and that'll change matter. So it's just so beautiful. And yeah, Dr. Joe and the research team, they get on a couple calls a year virtually, and you can ask questions and have opportunities to say, hey, have you thought about studying this? So it's a community. And it's just such a beautiful thing to be a part of. And I know we're going to get this information out, and this is how the world's going to change. So thank you for letting me share that. And have you guys been to an event? Has anybody on this call been to an event? No? Okay. We need to make that happen. So yeah, it's oh my goodness, it's definitely life-changing. Doing the work is life-changing too. But yeah.
Yeah. You got to like set a timer for when the tickets go on sale to literally get it right. I mean, these things sell out like, I don't know why a Prince concert is what just came to mind for me. Oh,
Yeah.
Christine, good you're going. Yes, yes, yes. Let us know which one you're going to. So it would be useful to get as many 50Kers as possible. Yeah.
Come up and say hi to me for sure.
Wow. Dr. Hillari, I know you've got a full day. I know you've got to get out to Germany for more of this transformational work. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Nice meeting all of you. And I hope to see you guys in my future.
Thank you so much.